As you know, in shortcut, we are calling it as a core support. Okay. As we started and we discussed that it is called cross origin resource sharing, right? In shortcut, we are calling it as what? CORS, CORS. So now I would like to explain how to create a documentation for the REST API. We have a REST API. Now we would like to provide a document. We would like to define a documentation for the REST API. And that is actually what we are going to discuss in the session today. How to prepare documentation for the REST API. Actually, as a service provider, suppose your application would like to provide services to other applications. Then you also need to provide some documentation for the client applications. You need to provide some documentation to the client application so that client applications can understand what are the endpoints, available in service provider, about their description, what input is required, what output is going to be returned, and which HTTP method can be used to make a call to that endpoint, right? So all these things, I repeat again, all these things required for the client applications means first of all, to the client application developer, the developer of the client application should have knowledge on what is a REST API, what are the endpoints, which HTTP methods can be used to make a call to that endpoints, what is the input required, what is the output expected, okay, what is the output expected. All these informations must be provided, okay, to the client application, so that client application developer can find all the information. Then the client application developer will use the REST endpoints in their application to make a call to the REST API and finally get the response. We'll get the data from the REST endpoints. That is what we are discussing now. I like to explain. This is called, we are calling it as what? REST documentation. Documenting the REST API. It's quite common. For example, suppose I am creating a Spring application as a client application, and in my application I would like to access Twitter API. I am creating a Spring application. It is my client application. Now I would like to access Twitter API. Okay. I want access Twitter API. So let's find the requirement here. Suppose if I want to access Twitter API, right? If I want to access Twitter API, first of all, I should have knowledge on what endpoints are there in Twitter API. and what is the input I pass to the Twitter API while making a call to the endpoints, and what is the output we are expecting from the Twitter API. Are clear? What is the output we are expecting from the Twitter API? So the point which I would like to explain is what Twitter has provided documentation, a public documentation. That documentation provides all the information like what is the endpoint, whether it should be sent in request URL or in the request body, in which format, whether in JSON or XML or HTML, in which format, and what is the response that endpoint returns. All this information is provided in a public document, and that document is accessible through api.twitter.com website. So first, what I need to do now, I'll open api.twitter.com, and I need to go through the documentation. And in the documentation, I can find out the endpoint URLs, the parameters, the output, the data format, all these things, HTTP method. I can find all these things. And now I can make a call to that API and I can get the response. I can make a call to that API from my application. I can access that API and I'll get the output. I'll get the data from Twitter. That's what I'm saying now. That's what documentation. Right. See, here we are going to start our discussion with a Swagger. Actually, preparing the documentation for REST API can be done in two ways. One way, you can do it manually now. One way you can do it manually. You can create some HTML files, CSS files. You can create some HTML files, CSS files, JavaScript files manually. Okay. You can prepare the documentation manually. That's what a manual documentation. So manual documentation means what? As a developer, you are going to create HTML file, CSS file, JavaScript files required, and prepare a documentation for your REST API by creating HTML pages manually, and provide a URL to access that HTML file to the clients. And through the URL, the clients can access your HTML file, and your HTML file uses some JavaScript and CSS files to make the documentation beautiful, attractive. It can prepare attractive documentation. Okay, now? That is number one, manual documentation. Second one, you can use a tool. You can use a tool to prepare documentation. The advantage of tool is tool already contains some predefined HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, and the tool will automatically prepare the documentation for your REST API within a fraction of seconds. Within a fraction of seconds. Within a fraction of seconds. So advantage is what now, as a developer, you no need to write HTML files, CSS files, JavaScript files, nothing. So you no need of doing all these things. Without doing them, you can prepare the documentation. So tool-based documentation is better than manual documentation. And other advantage of tool-based documentation is what? See, for example, okay. For example, if you changed your REST API, means you have made some changes, like you added one endpoint, one more new endpoint you have added, or one existing endpoint, maybe you have updated. Are clear? Maybe an endpoint you updated, or maybe other endpoint you have newly added. Clear? Or the something like one endpoint you removed from your application. You made some changes to endpoints. Within fraction of seconds, these changes becomes available for the clients if it is a tool-based documentation. If it is a manual documentation, then it takes some time for the clients to get the new document, because you have to prepare the document manually. It will take some time, maybe 1 hour, or maybe 1 day, or maybe 1 week. But what happens now? The clients are going to get the updated REST API information, like in a delay process. It's a delay way. But if it is a tool, what happens immediately within a fraction of seconds, the tool will prepare the documentation for the REST API according to your changes, and the documentation becomes available for the client applications to use it. Right? These are the two ways now. One is a manual documentation. Second one is a tool-based documentation. One is a manual documentation, and another one is a tool-based documentation. Right? So here, actually what we are discussing in the session today,
regarding with
we are using a tool called Swagger. Swagger is a tool or API, whatever. Actually, Swagger is a specification, or Swagger is a tool. This tool is a specification, and by using this Swagger tool, we can prepare the documentation for the REST API. And now we want to see how we can use Swagger tool to prepare the documentation for the REST API, right? That is what we are discussing now. Clear? Let's start with. So I would like to say Swagger is a tool. Okay, now Swagger is a tool. Actually, Swagger is a specification. It's from third party. In Spring Boot, what we do, we use Spring Fox implementation of a Swagger. Swagger is a specification. Actually, what Swagger is a specification. And this Swagger specification has multiple implementations. But in Spring, there is a Spring Fox implementation used. Spring Fox is an implementation of Swagger specification. So in Spring Boot, this is Spring Fox implementation. Spring Boot uses Spring Fox implementation of Swagger specification to prepare the documentation. Right. We're getting some network disturbance today. So anyhow, we'll continue. Right. We'll continue. our requirement is we want to prepare a documentation through Swagger. Preparing documentation is a very simple. We'll start preparing the documentation for our REST application. And I would like to tell you, we are going to use Spring Fox implementation. Spring Boot applications use Spring Fox implementation of the Swagger specification. So for that, what we need to do, we have to add that Spring Fox dependencies to the pom.xml file. We are going to add the Spring Fox dependencies. Then we are also going to use some annotations from the Swagger specification. Right. I will tell you what are all the changes required in order to prepare the documentation for the REST API using Swagger. Swagger is a specification, Spring Fox is its implementation. So we are going to use that Spring Fox implementation of Swagger specification to prepare the documentation. Okay, now let's start with. Right. Spring Fox implementation of a Swagger specification we are going to do. We are going to add to our application. Swagger is a tool which prepares documentation, and in the documentation it will also allow the clients to test that REST endpoints. See, normally there are some tools which will only prepare documentation, but the advantage of using Swagger is it will prepare documentation, and the documentation will also allow the clients to test the endpoints. That is okay. uh, like you can try it out each and every point within the documentation only, like w3schools.com, right? So anyhow, I would like to tell you one by one. Coming to the point as of this session today, as far as the session today is concerned, I would like to tell you what our requirement. First, we'll add Spring Fox dependencies in the pom.xml. One dependency is a Spring Fox -swagger 2. Is a one dependency. Spring Fox -swagger 2. The other dependency, okay, Spring Fox, okay, -swagger -UI. Now these are the two Swagger dependencies which we are going to add in our application's pom.xml file. So first we would like to add these dependencies in the pom.xml. Now second thing, we are going to add annotation at API operation on the REST controller methods. At API operation. At API operation, this is an annotation which we write. At API operations annotation which we write. Okay, na? The annotation what we are writing is at API operation. This annotation we write at class level, method level. API operation means method to write the description of each REST endpoint. The description of a REST endpoint which should be included in the documentation, we are going to write through what? At the API operation. Right. So first we like to do this. Next is thirdly, we are going to configure a docket bean in the Spring application context container. Docket bean. Actually, this Swagger uses this docket bean to find where to search for REST controllers, and the next which path should be included in the documentation. Okay, this docket bean will be used by Swagger. Swagger uses this docket like to find where to search for REST controllers, means where is the REST controllers in the project, in which package. So where to search for REST controllers and which paths of the REST controller should be included in the documentation. Suppose you have a REST endpoints, but in the documentation you want to provide only some endpoints, and some endpoints you want to hide in the documentation. You don't want to show them to the clients. Some endpoints you want to allow them to the clients, and some endpoints you don't want to allow them to the clients. Or you would like to prepare two different documentations, one documentation for normal users and other documentation for admin users. That one public document, one private document. And the public document should show some endpoints to the users. Private document should show some other endpoints to the users. So finally, what I am trying to explain you is, right. Finally, what I am going to explain you is, when you are preparing the documentation for the REST API, what I am trying to explain means what I would like to explain you is, okay, what I am trying to explain you is, what I would like to explain you, configure a docket bean and add this docket bean to the Spring IOC container. So Swagger will find where to search for the REST controllers. Next, which paths should be included in the documentation. These informations are collected from docket bean. So these are docket bean which we are going to configure in the Spring application context. So we are going to create a bean method in Spring Boot application class. So what we create a bean method in the Spring Boot application class, okay, and we are just going to add a bean method to return this docket object. So this docket object will be registered as a bean in the Spring container. These are the three changes initially we are going to do to our application. First thing, we would like to first add two dependencies in the form.xml. I'm going to show you that. One is a Spring Fox -Swagger2, and the other one is a Spring Fox -Swagger-UI. Second, we are going to add API operation annotation at the REST controller methods. Third, we configure docket bean in the Spring application context. Fourth one, at the Spring Boot application class, we enable this Swagger capability with the enable Swagger2 annotation at the rate enable Swagger2. Now, let us start doing the changes. Right, let us start doing the changes. Okay, let us start doing the changes now. All the changes we want to do to our application. Then finally we are going to see whether documentation is prepared or not. And whenever we run our REST application, then at runtime one HTML file is generated at runtime only. At runtime an HTML file is added to our application context path, that is swagger-ui.html. Okay, swagger-ui.html file, that HTML file is created at the runtime to our application context path. And this HTML file will show the documentation for the clients to access. So I am going to show you all these things, like how documentation can be prepared to our REST API using Swagger. Okay, now we'll start with that. I'll explain you. Everyone, let's begin now. Okay, let's start with. Now let me tell you. First we will do one thing. First we'll open our application. Okay, PMS REST application. So now, first, I would like to open PMS REST application to add the dependencies in the pom.xml file. So here we are going to add two dependencies. Actually, these two dependencies are not from Spring Boot. These are not from Spring Boot. It is a Spring Fox implementation Swagger specification. So these are the third-party dependencies. So we will like to add those third-party dependencies now. Okay, now we will like to add the third-party dependencies now, right? We'll start with that. So first we will have a dependency tag. And this is a group ID. io.springfox. I think we have version 217, I think. Just wait. I've added to my previous application. The same dependencies I'll copy better. Instead of writing manually, we can just copy them. These are the two dependencies I would like to copy. 292. Two 2.9.2 version. Yeah. Look at this now. Two dependencies added newly. Group ID io.springfox. Springfox-swagger 2. And this is a version. Now this is Springfox-swagger-UI. And again this is a version 2.9.2. Okay, na? 2.9.2. These are the two dependencies in the pom.xml. Next thing, let's open our REST endpoints. Here we can add @API operation. You are aware that what @API operation notation can be used. What @API operation can be used to add a description for the REST endpoint. To be this description will be added to the documentation. Say for example, I'm writing like this now: @API operation fetches the details of all products okay fetches all the details of all products from database. See, just we added some description like that. Now this is an annotation called API operation, okay? And now this is going to be our string now. Fetches the details of all products from database. Say for example, here I would like to add description @API operation. Here what? Fetches uh, the details of a specific product. Are you clear? Fetches the details of a specific product with a given ID. From database. Okay, now fetches the details of a specific product with a given ID from database. And this is by manufacturer. Like that, we can add the documentation for each and every endpoint with API operation. Fetches the details of products with a given manufacturer. From database. Okay, now fetches the details of all products with a given manufacturer from database. This is to add a new product. So API operation adds a new product details to database.
Open your mouth.
@API operation
బొగ్గను పెట్టుకొని రసం చప్పరిస్తా
updates an existing product. An existing product details in database. Like this, we can add all the documentation. Just I'm going to write last one. @API operation deletes A specific product from database. With a given ID. Now this is the second change. Just add this annotation and write some description of each endpoint. Now this description appears in the documentation. You know what? So here is my REST API application. First of all, I would like to enable Swagger 2. At the rate enable Swagger 2. So next what I would like to do, right, at the rate bean. Here I told you what we are going to configure a docket bean. Docket bean will be used by Swagger to find information like where to search for, to get information like where to search for REST controller and which path should be included in the documentation. That information we are going to define with the help of this docket bean. So I would like to write like this now. Public return type is a docket. Here you can write something, say for example I am writing API docket, anything. Method name docket. It should return a docket object, right? Docket is a one bean. Swagger use this bean to find information, right? So return new docket. But while creating an object of docket class, we need to pass a parameter that is a documentation type parameter. Documentation type dot Swagger 2. Swagger has two versions. Swagger 1.2 means 1.2 version. Swagger 2 means 2.0 version. So current version is Swagger 2. Documentation type dot Swagger 2. Now I can write dot select dot APIs. Here we need to provide a selector. The selector is a request handler selector. So request handler selector request handler selectors dot, there is a method called base package. See, we have a base package, something like, com.pms. Here this APIs method tells where to search for REST controllers. Base package name com.pms means what? Swagger is going to search for this com.pms and all its sub packages to find where is a REST controller. So where to search for REST controllers in a base package called com.pms. Otherwise com.pms.controller also you cannot directly. com.pms.controller. Means what now? Swagger is going to search for REST controllers in com.pms.controller package and sub package of com.pms.controller. But I don't have any sub package for this com.pms.controller. So it's only going to search in com.pms.controller. Next I would like to say dot paths. Say path selectors dot any. Then I say dot build. See, path selectors dot any means all the paths are included. Any path is included in the documentation. If you would like to specify only some path, then you can use regex, regular expression. Regex means regular expression. You can specify a path regular expression. Dot any means any. Okay. Or you can also call ant pattern, ant ant, or any. Any means everything. Okay. Are you getting my point? Any. Any means all. Next. Dot build. Okay, na dot build. Now finally, I have configured docket bin. See these APIs and paths, two methods you have to understand. APIs tells where to search for REST controllers. Paths tells which path should be included in the documentation. Okay, paths is telling which path should be included in documentation. APIs tells where to search for the REST controllers. Okay, now search for the REST controllers in com.pms.controller package. And the paths tells which path should be included. Any means all the paths. Okay. All the 4 changes are done. Just we'll run this application once. And it's running on the port number 2324. It's running on the port number 2324. Running on the port number 2324. With the context path /product REST API, right? It's running on the port number what? 2324. And with the context path is what? /product REST API. So I would like to see automatically swagger-ui.html file is created by Swagger. Now just we can access that. The URL to access it is http localhost colon 2324 that's our port. Product REST API is our application context path swagger-ui.html, right? Method argument type mismatch. Okay, it is calling that endpoint. ID endpoint is there, not? It is calling that ID endpoint. Swagger-ui.html when you type, it is going to call ID endpoint of the product REST API. That is the reason why we'll do one thing. I will explain you. For some time, I want to change this endpoint as slash product slash ID. Otherwise, what is happening when I type swagger hyphen UI.html? Now it is going to call this ID endpoint of this product REST API, but it is not calling that HTML file. So I would like to start the server again. And now you can see that it started on port number 2324 with context path is product REST API, right? We'll start with that. Now the file name is a swagger-ui.html. Now you see one documentation page is open. I will tell you how to customize this heading, the description, version and all, but right now presently one swagger-ui.html file is open and you have a product REST controller. Just click on that. Now you can see the documentation is prepared for the product REST controller like this. Now one endpoint is what? All products. Now this all products is to fetch the details of all products from database. Now this is a product slash ID. This is fetching the details of a specific product with a given ID from database. And you know, this is to add product slash add to add a new product from database. See, these are all. This is accessible with get. It is also with get only. This is with post. This is with the delete, put. Last one, this also with the get only, this endpoint. These are all the descriptions. So if you want to write any descriptions like this, you are added what annotation? At the API operation. Use at the API operation annotation to write descriptions. To write descriptions, you write at the API operation. Okay, na? Now these are all the different endpoints. These are the HTTP methods. Suppose if I click on this first one, it will expand. You can try it out. No parameters required. To this all products endpoint, no parameters are required. Response content type application by JSON, and these are the default response code with the descriptions. $200 code means okay. We can customize this also, but 401 means unauthorized. 403 means forbidden. 404 means not found. Okay, now this is what I would like to tell you. Okay, clear? These are the default responses you are getting. We can customize them. We have annotation at the API response, at the API responses. And if you do not want to see these default response messages, then you can set the value as false. I'll show you. Now you can try it out. And there is no parameters required, directly execute. Now this is a request URL. And this is a response body. See, in the response body, you got array of JSON strings. ID 101, 103, 104. And these are the headers sent in the response, the default headers. Connection, content type, date, keep alive, transfer encoding, vary. Right? This is a server response you got. Means what is the endpoint we have tested here? All products endpoint we have tested here. All products is a REST endpoint what we tested. All products endpoint we have tested. Okay. All products endpoint we tested. Next. Like that you can test the other endpoint, add endpoint. For example, if it is add, see parameters. What's the parameter name? Product DTO required in the body, in the request body. Description, product DTO, example value like this. Here parameter required. What's the parameter? Product DTO in the body, not as a path variable in the body. The parameter content type JSON. Then response. This is for post. If you want, you can try it out. Okay, parameters. Before clicking on this execute, enter the values here, the example value. You have to enter the value here. Manufacturer, some manufacturer, say Asus. Say price 12,999. Say product ID 102. Say product name Genphone. Okay, now then you click on what? Execute. Now you got the response here. Or the response body, product is added to database is the response body. This is a request URL, this is a response body. This is a request, this server response is like this. The code we got is 200. And of course, this is the response headers we got. Right? And check in the database is really 102 product is again added to the database or not. Okay, now connected. Select star from products. Now again you can see Asus product is added with the price 12,999 and the product name is Zenfone. Okay, right. So means it's working. This is, for example, fetch a product. Parameter is what? ID. Product slash ID parameter required in the request URL. And remember it is an integer and this is a path variable, not a request body. If it is in, if this parameter should be sent in request body, then you will get parameter as a body parameter. But this is not a body parameter, it's a path variable, path. You can try it out. Enter the value here, ID value. Say 103. Execute. Now see the server response. This is the request URL and the server response, or the response body, a JSON string with the product ID, so and so, product name, price, and manufacturer. Like this. The advantage of Swagger is what will prepare a documentation directly for you automatically. and will also allow you to test whether that endpoint is working or not. So separately, no need to use Postman, no need of using any Postman app separately to test whether the endpoints are working or not. Are you able to get point what I'm saying now? Now this is what I would like to tell you in the product as controller. Various endpoints we got here. Okay, these are the various endpoints. Now this is what I would like to tell you. Okay, now right, let's move on. uh, Again, I would like to tell you, these are all the default responses. See, for example, if you open any one of the endpoints, say you're by default getting what, 200 description, okay, 401 unauthorized, 403 forbidden, 404 not found. So for example, if you want to customize this, means what, in the documentation, instead of 200 means description okay, you want to change the description for the code 200, then we can use annotation at the API response. And you don't want these default messages. These are all by default in the documentation. These default response code and descriptions are generated. You can do one thing. In the docket bean, I can call the method dot use a default response messages false. Use a default response messages false means what? Now the default response messages are not generated in the documentation. So I would like to show you that. I'll stop it. Again, I will run. Now the application is going to run. I will like to add 2324 swagger-ui.html. Now in the documentation, if I open this class, if I open this product controller, if I open this endpoint, only 200 okay, successful response only displayed, but you are not finding 401 unauthorized, 403 forbidden, 404 not found. The default response messages are cut in the documentation. If you want to cut them, then add this, call this method use a default response messages, means it will ignore the predefined response messages, ignoring them by setting false. Only 200 okay will be displayed, but remaining all ignored in the documentation. Okay. Now if I want to add my own for the endpoints, I selected my own description for some of the endpoints. then I can use, for example, only for one I will write. In the same way, you understand that others also applicable. Say at the rate API response, the API responses of at the rate API response code is equal to 200 and description, that's called message is equal to the data is returned successfully. The data is returned successfully, comma, for 200. Next I would like to add for 404 API response code 404 and the message, the message I would like to write is the request URL is not valid or invalid, anything. Or invalid URL request, something like. Just I'm adding for only one endpoint, all products. Likewise, you can add this all API responses for other endpoints also. You can include 403, 401 also if you want. But I just want to show you whether these two annotations are also working or not. API responses can be used to add one or multiple API response annotations. So here I'm using at the API response annotation. Okay, na? Right. Now let me run this. Now again we open swagger-ui.html. I want to open swagger-ui.html. Okay. (2324) swagger-ui.html. And now you can see here, you can find once if I open it, see all products is there now. Can you click on that? Now see the response code 200. What the message? The data is returned successfully. Previously what you are getting here only just okay, but now we customized it with the API response annotation 404. Normally you will get by default not found, but the description what we changed, the request URL is not valid. Okay, like this you can use API responses. Even we can also use API param annotation for parameter. So that also I'll show you. See, for example, you want a description for a parameter. Say for example, if you look at this path variable ID, integer ID path variable, but to this path variable I would like to add API param annotation to write a description for the parameter. So what the annotation I can use now? At the rate API param of the message. The message is just the ID of a product. So what the annotation I use? At the rate API param. What's the purpose of this annotation? To write description for a parameter, API parameter. description for a API parameter. That's what ID of a product, API param. Next. Similarly for manufacturer, something if you want. For example, @param, API param. I can tell you manufacturer of a product. For example, the parameter is a product DTO, right? So here I will at @API param. See a product data as JSON. Something. I'm writing like this now. A product data as JSON string. Like this you can write for all the parameters. So with the new annotation added API param. Okay. Let's start with. We'll start the application to check whether the params are affected or not. As you can see that. As you can see that. It's 2324 swagger-ui.html. Open the process controller. Now see, for example, if I open this endpoint, see previously only you got product ID, but you see description ID of a product. This description you can write through what? You can write the description through API param. Okay, now? Right, next. Now this is to add a product now. Now see the description. A product data as JSON string. Now this is also done with what? API param. Okay, now? So API param can be used in this way. There are some annotations what we discussed in the session today for Swagger documentation. If you like if you change any endpoints, like you added a new endpoint or you have updated an existing endpoint, then whenever application run on the fly within fraction of seconds, the documentation also prepared, and this documentation is available for the clients. Now what happens now, before clients are going to access my REST endpoints, first they are going to see this description. I will provide this page URL to the clients. I will expose this URL to the clients. I'll tell the clients that so and so is a URL to read my documentation, my REST API documentation. The clients will open that URL and they will try to see this documentation and they will try to test it if they want, and then they are going to consume my REST API into their applications. This is the way to prepare the documentation for the REST API. Okay. There is there is this is the docket bean, and suppose if you want to change API information like API documentation, the description, title, we can change them. We can change the title, we can change the description. We can change the title, we can change the description by creating API info object. That also I'll show you now, so that we can identify how to change that. Right. So I would like to tell you, look at this. First, I would like to create better. Here only, I am creating API info builder. API info builder returns API info object. API info builder is a helper class to build API info object. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you that. Other first I'll create API info builder object. Now API info builder dot, say for example title, see product REST documentation or product REST API documentation. Is a title of this documentation. Description, API info builder is a helper class to build API info object. Description, title, contact, like that. So I would like to tell description, a string. I can tell you product REST endpoints to perform CRUD operations. The description. What next? API info builder dot title, description, okay, version. Say version, I would like to say 1.1. Okay, version number 1.1 string. And now API info, say API info is equal to API info builder dot build. Now this build method of API info builder object will create a API info object. Now this API info object we can set to this docket. Dot API info of API info object. We can add that API info object by calling API info method of docket. Now see, a change you are going to observe. I'll show you the change. The description, documentation, version. Now let's open it. You know, it is 2324 swagger-ui.html. Now see the difference. Previous you got only API document. Now it is product REST API document. This is the title and this is a version. and this is a description. So to customize this version and this title, description and all, you have to create a API info object and add it to the docket. You can add the API info object to the docket object. Like this, we can prepare documentation through the REST API, documentation for the REST API through Swagger. Swagger is a tool to prepare the documentation for the REST API. Okay, now that is what we got today. So I will post this application again to you because it contains no Swagger related things. Now you can go through them. You can go through them. CARS client app and PMS client app also I will change. I will tell you. Okay. That also I will tell you. I will post you. Don't worry. I'll post all applications at once. 2-3 applications I'll post at once. I'll post all of them to you. Okay, so that you can practice all of them. Next we have session on Monday. There will be no session for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm not taking any session for you. Next session will be on Monday. Okay, tomorrow I'm taking session for other batch. So I'm not taking for your batch, and tomorrow there is no session for all of you. The next session will be on Monday for you at 8:30. 8:30, 8:40 I'll start today. Actually, I plan to start at 8:30 only, 8:40 like that. But there is some network issue. So it's become delayed. Okay. Because at 7, I said already 7 to 8:30 session I finished. I have no session right now at 7 to 8:30. I'll